This is a film about Standen's range of equipment for the potato grower. During the last few years, Standens have been steadily introducing a full range of advanced machinery for potato growers, and in this film we shall look at each in turn. First of all though, who are Standens? Founded back in 1846, the factory is situated in Ely in Cambridgeshire and employs around 100 people in the manufacture of root harvesting equipment. A modern 80,000 square foot factory produces a range of sugar beet harvesters for which Standens are probably best known, a range of potato harvesters, row crop wheels and other related products. Development of new products has always been a major part of Standen's programme and is the lifeblood of the company. Not only the new products from Standen itself, but also products from companies with whom Standens have established a trading partnership. The purpose of this film is to show each of the new products which relate to the potato crop, highlighting those points which we consider to be of special interest to the grower. It would seem natural to take the machines in the order in which they are used, which means starting with one of the Standen Blair products, the Bedformer. A powerfully built machine, its objective is to create a good-sized bed for the destoner to work in. A lot of soil must be moved by a Bedformer, especially on 34-inch or 36-inch work, so its enormous strength is a distinct advantage. Having created the bed, the next machine into the field is the destoner or soil preparator. Here, the Standen Blair partnership has resulted in a new range of equipment. First, a few details of the machines. There are two basic models, the first, which we see here, being a soil preparator for less stony soils, and the second, a destoner. Both feature the special rotor spike soil breaker and are offered with either 60-inch or 72-inch wide webs. We will look first at the rotor spike, because it is the heart of the machine. Its purpose is not to feed soil onto the first web, as might be supposed, but to break it up once it is there. The low-angle separate share principle employed on the machines ensures a good feed of soil, wet or dry, so that the rotor spike can really get its teeth into the soil as soon as it is ready for separation. The soil bed virtually explodes and sieving starts at once. This replaces the need for 3 webs, reduces wear and speeds operations. Look how deep the soil bed is. On the 72-inch wide models, the webs are twinned. This has several benefits. They are stronger, they sieve better, and the central division reduces drift on hillsides. Their real advantage is the speed at which these novel design features allows the machines to work. The cascade of soil, dry or wet, and here in Scotland it is very wet, means nothing but unwanted material is dropped in the furrow bottom. It doesn't matter how much stone is in the soil, the destoner will take it out. What other features make the Standen Blair products an attractive buy? Depth is controlled on the move by the operator hydraulically. Clod crushing rollers are available to assist separation. A vibrating stone collector at the back of the machine is an option for fields where rocks, stumps or whatever must be collected. Buca spool valves are specified, these being the best available for agricultural machines. The axle steers and the whole rear end can be raised hydraulically to increase sieving where this is found to be necessary, or when working on hillsides or in cloddy conditions. For lighter land, where clod is the main problem, the model SP60 is an alternative to the DS72. Being 30% cheaper, it will appeal to many growers, since it shares most of the features of its bigger brother. And so naturally into planting. The Standen Eho planter is very well known to the British grower, in particular for its ability to plant chitted seed. As growers' requirements have changed, so has the planter. Today it offers something for everybody. Firstly, the models. For the smaller grower, the Model 10 offers an economical purchase. Until recently, this model was the most popular in the range. Now, however, the larger hopper models have taken over. They're big 1¼ ton hoppers, permitting the use of mechanical handling systems. More time spent in the field planting, less time at the headland loading. A new heavy-duty chassis has also been developed to increase the strength of the planter. The principal feature of these models is its belt feed system. This meters seed through at a precise rate so that the cup feed area is not overloaded with potatoes. This prevents the all-important chits being knocked off and ensures even feed into the cups. It is this even feed which produces the plant population accuracy, which is one of the keys to good yields. Depth of work is also important, here assisted by a depth wheel, whilst a good covering of soil in the ridges prevents greens and the need to reform ridges at a later date. A new development from Standen is a 3-row planter. It is similar in all respects to the 2-row models, except a 3rd row has been positioned in the middle to give 3 rows at 15-inch, 16-inch or 17-inch centres. The planter is used by growers who want to maximise the number of small tubers, for example for seed, late scrapers, salad potatoes or canners. The belts are driven by a mechanical drive system, which is an option on the 2-row models, and with 3 pairs of belts can plant a lot of seed in a very short time. Not all seed is nicely chitted, and there are times when the chits get away from one. A useful feature of the Standen planter is its ability to feed even a sample as we see here. Not everybody's idea of how seed should be presented, but nonetheless it causes no problem to the Standen, much to the relief of the grower. Behind the planter, a former produces the potato bed, with discs to lift any loose soil which has fallen into the furrow bottom. If moisture loss is a problem during the growing season, beds can help reduce it. To complement these hopper models, Standen also offers a platform planter. Here, an operator riding on the back ensures 100% accuracy. A hopper can be fitted to the platform if required. And so to harvesting. During the last 3 years, Standens have expended considerable resources on the development of 2 major innovations for the British potato grower. The first is the 2-stage harvesting system, and the second is introducing a roller table cleaner into the 2-row Statesman harvester. Both, in fact, came together in 1991. And for the rest of this film, we shall be looking at various Standen harvesters at work, month by month, in a wide range of crops and conditions. Where possible, we'll let the growers talk for themselves. Let's kick off in late May, with very early potatoes grown in the Suffolk coastal region. Here's what one farm manager thought of the Standen machine after he'd had it for several days on demonstration.
The last 2 days we've been lifting in very wet conditions, conditions that aren't suitable for my harvester, and the dolman cleaner itself has produced the samples which is superior to the machine I'm using at the moment. Being very wet, we're getting a lot of top getting past the horn rollers on our harvester, and it's tending to bring the soil with it, and with the dolman cleaner unit it's being taken out virtually completely, which means when we get to the grader there's very little to pick out, and it's been very successful.
And did he find the Statesman successfully coped with all the wet soil?
Yeah, definitely. This is the point. I mentioned about top. Well, top tends to bring soil, and the fact that dolman was taking the top out, it was then also taking the soil out with it, without damaging the potatoes, and it was very successful in these wet conditions especially.
And what about the harvester in general?
The dolman unit has been fitted into the harvester extremely well, and doesn't seem to have appeared to upset the balance of the machine, which does tow very well in really very wet conditions. The weight transfer onto the tractor does appear to be good. The controls are very easy to use, and all in all it's a good all-round harvester, I would say. I have to admit I've been more than impressed with the dolman cleaning unit. It seems to abstract any loose soil that will come over the webs, top that has got past the horn roller, and more importantly will do all this without dragging the small potatoes through, and seems to leave everything undamaged, which I find almost, well, in fact, until I saw this device I would have said was impossible.
We will pause at this point to consider the roller table, since this is the heart of the harvester. The first table was fitted to a Standen Statesman back in 1988. It was obvious to us at the time that to be effective in British conditions, a number of design changes were mandatory. The machines built in 1991 include all these features, which is why the roller table is so successful in the Standen harvester today. And what are they? The feed onto the table must be as gentle as possible. Out went the second horn roller to give a drop of only 8 inches, not the 16 inches found on other machines. Speed of roller rotation must be variable, down to the very slowest speed possible. A redesign of the hydraulic drive system achieved this. The reverser was essential, seen here demonstrating its ability to reject unwanted material and yet continuing to rotate. The table angle had to be adjustable, so this meant a flightless rear web and a system for adjusting the angle from the cab. A roller moisturizing kit is also an advantage for some varieties in exceptionally dry conditions. Other points will come out as the film unfolds. We will look now at the manned version of the Statesman. This grower purchased his machine in 1991 after successful test work in 1990. He grows his potatoes in beds, specializing in producing small 10 to 25 millimeter samples for demanding buyers. With plenty of small stone, damage or lack of it is a prime requirement. After topping with a standen FM topper, a 72-inch bed of soil is taken into the harvester. To retain the small tubers, he uses a 32 millimeter main web, so much of the soil separation must take place on the cleaner unit. The table is able to cope with all the soil, the top, roots and all those little stones already referred to. Another Statesman, sold in 1991, lifts 600 acres of earlies and second earlies. Hear what its operator had to say about it. First, about its sample.
Well, the sample in the trailer is equally as good, if not better, than off the previous machine, with by people on the machine taking the stones and trash off. The Statesman is getting a better sample in the trailer.
An important part of any potato harvester are the horn rollers, since they can easily pull through potatoes.
Well, I think the one horn roller has worked better than two on the previous machines I've used. Really unbelievable, you know, that's really first-class horn roller.
A major feature of the new Statesman is its ability to harvest at fast forward speeds without in any way impairing the sample. Often an unmanned Statesman would outperform a conventional manned machine, and by a large margin.
Conditions today, we had 17 millimetres of rain till yesterday morning at 9 o'clock, and we've had another 5 millimetres since. We've had very nearly an inch of rain in the last 48 hours. And we started in this field with the Statesman first thing this morning in very wet conditions, and it went very well. I was very impressed. I've just been talking to the grading line on the radio, and they're complaining that they're having to slow the grading line speed down by half to dress the sample from the QC because there's so many stones in it, which is a very interesting feature of the Statesman. I mean, you've got this Dorman rollers on it, and they seem to be doing a very good job in this field. It's harvesting at a faster rate, producing a cleaner sample.
The use of destoners has revolutionized the growing of potatoes, but whilst the big stone is easily removed, the small stone must still be dealt with. The roller cleaner is exceptionally efficient at dealing with small stone, no more so than we see here. A Norfolk potato specialist comments on the harvester as it is put through its paces.
There's more and more potatoes grown on stony land, as it's virgin land in lots of cases for growing potatoes on, and we have to accept that in the future we're going to be faced with conditions such as these, and we need the equipment, or need the type of equipment to deal with this type of land. And this is the extreme in terms of very small stone and wanting to keep the very small potatoes down to 10 millimetre. 2-3 years ago, if you'd asked to cure a problem like this, you would not have had an answer. The standen Statesman certainly has dealt with it extremely well, and certainly not a very high capital cost for the job it's actually achieving. The Statesman is doing a superb job, really, in almost impossible conditions. There's very few potatoes that are coming through that are below, say, 15 mil. Looking at the crop in the trailer, there appears to be very little damage, which is quite amazing, bearing the type of stone that's here, the flint. I think for the first time I've seen the dolman actually that seems to be part of the machine and not shoehorned in to a situation. The drop onto the dolman, and indeed the delivery onto the cross conveyor which delivers onto the elevator, I have to say is superb, and deals with the right angled turn very well indeed. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before. I'm amazed it's doing the job it is.
Down in Somerset, a standen user wanted to see the new harvester. He was able to compare his manned statesman with the new unmanned roller cleaner machine. Here's what he said.
It's Marathoner variety, which, as we all know as growers, grows an awful lot of top. It's very long. It's started to senesce. It's now, so it's right down across the rows, across the ridges. It is not proving a big problem. The harm extraction roller, the first one's taking it out, and the dolman cleaner will take out the rest of it. It's worked very well, Andy. Conditions in this field, it was declodded, but we had a lot of rain in mid-April after they were planted. The ridges have gone like iron. 3 weeks ago, the field was like mud, and we were digging potatoes using the manned statesman with up to 3 people on it, although normally we use it without anybody on it because of the condition.